Mike Bohn joined now by one of the greatest kickboxers, combat sports athletes of all time, Mr. Rico Verhoeven, who returns December 7th, Glory Collision 7. Rico, you've done this Glory Collision many times now, so it's
Yes,
got
sir.
to be exciting for you again, though.
Yeah, man. Always the glory collisions are always the biggest events we have. So, yeah, I'm crazy excited to always be so privileged to headline them. So, yeah, like I said, excited, thankful that we're there again. And it's been one hell of a year already, starting off with an amazing Grand Prix. And yeah, now finishing up with a nice title defense.
Yeah, this has got to feel like light work compared to March, right? Like just one fight, knowing compared to three potentially going in. Like, how different is your mindset, knowing that in the big picture, I guess it's a much smaller workload?
Yeah, so it's not light work, but it's just different. It's different. In the tournament, the pace was of course a lot higher because of the it was a 3 rounder instead of a 5 rounder. The title fights are always 5 rounds, so you get more time to like get into the fight. And with the 3 rounders, you really got to push it. You got to push it. Make sure you win that first round, or else yeah, come in trouble somewhere. So yeah, the pace is a lot higher, and of course, you have to endure injuries going into the second and the third fight if you get there.
Yeah. Do you have a preference of doing one over the other?
Yeah, I like the title fights more.
Yeah.
100%, 100%, because of the um for me, I like to get really into the fight. So to grow into the fight is I don't mind starting right away, but it's nice to really have like the feeling that also your opponent really felt like he really gave it his all. Those 3 rounds, I don't know, for some kind of reason, like yeah, they feel like you feel like you don't have enough time, or you can really like show everything. And I think in the 5 rounder, it's it's more than just like a kickboxing match. It's really a gladiator fight. It comes to stamina and like how bad do you want it.
Yeah, I guess on the other side too. I mean, with the tournaments, right? There's a lot of unpredictability, and I'm that's like more raw martial arts side, right? You don't know who you're going to be fighting, how things are going to go, but this is more like kind of the entertainment, right? There's a storyline between this fight. They build it up. It's the title fight, so they're kind
Yeah,
of written
100%.
that way too.
Yeah, like you said, for me, the tournaments, it's on my opinion, not always the best fighter wins,
Hmm.
because you don't know what happens in a previous fight. Maybe you kicked an elbow, so you cool off, you get ready for the second fight, and then yeah, your foot hurts or whatever, you can't continue for some kind of reason, and then not always the best fighter wins in the tournament. And in a title fight, you both like prepare fully for a fight, and you can give it your all, and then yeah, the best man wins.
Yeah, and I mean, with that said, this fight with Levy is the rematch of the final you had there. Do you
Yeah.
feel like in that tournament, the best two guys did make it to the end there?
Yeah, 100%,
Hmm.
100%. So of course, I was the defend. I was the champion already, so I had a lot to lose there. But yeah, I love the challenge because we've been champion for so long. I was like, yeah, let's do something. Let's do something. Let's try something different. And like winning this Grand Prix was like the cherry on the cake for me.
Hmm. What do you think they made the right call here by putting this fight back together? I mean, Levy's obviously earned it. He's got a couple good wins since then. So do you feel like this was the right play promotion wise?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think for him it would have been better to do it a little bit later,
Hmm.
just to get a little more experience and just a little bit more wins. Now it's like straight back into it. I'm not sure if that's going to favor him, but either way, he's going to learn from it again.
Yeah, for sure. How do you think he approaches things differently this time around? Knowing where he kind of experienced in the lead up in the tournament, going through that, and then obviously the fights he's had since then. How do you think he's going to try to approach you differently this time?
Um, to be honest, I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think if you hear him talk in interviews, he's like, "Yeah, now I felt like what was going on," and like, okay, but if you look at the fight, you're like, you had no chance in the first round. Yeah, one moment that was that spinning back fist, and that was literally it. So let's not make it any bigger than it was. It was a
Yeah,
perfect moment, and I'm not taking anything away. I'm just looking at myself like, oh, I'm disappointed that it happened, but other than that, it was just like 15 seconds in a fight. So and for the rest of those 2 rounds, I was dominating anyway. So yeah, for me, I don't know what he's gonna do different. He has a different a trainer now, which he also did his previous fight with. So he said like, oh, like now for 6 months, I've never trained so hard. And okay, but what were you doing all that time before then? So like, I don't know. I don't know. Everybody approaches everything on his own way and in his own way, and I just do what I do best, and that's kick ass.
yeah, for sure. I mean, do you feel like that, the spinning back fist moment is just kind of one of those things people like to hold on to because been so dominant, right? Like, I remember asking John Jones a similar question once before that, like, because you're so convincing over people and you've been so successful for so long, if anyone just has a little moment, it's kind of made into such of a bigger thing because
Yeah, of
you
course.
are who you are. So do you feel like that's kind of the situation that played out there? I mean, it was a good shot, but
100%.
in fairness, in the grand
100%.
scheme.
100%. 100%. And it's good. It's good. It keeps everything excited, and um, it keeps the fans wanting to come to the fight, to see the fight. So for me, it's good anyway. And it's I'm just happy that there's a good contender again in front of me, and which I can showcase still what I'm made of. So, like I said, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, for sure. How do you keep that motivation and excitement, given the run of success you've had? I mean, complacency is, I think, one of the biggest challenges for a fighter in your position is just, feeling what can be new or what can be different. You've just been so successful for so long. How do you maintain that?
Well, to be honest, like it's not really like motivation. It's more in a sense of being a better version of me every time. Because I'm my own biggest critic, and every fight I do, I see things that why did I do this or why did I do that, or this can be different or this can be better. And if we can still find this and have the discipline to improve from that, let's go. Let's go, and we can just yeah, showcase a better version of Rico than we did in the tournament. So, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking at like, oh, I'm gonna be 11 years champion, or I'm gonna be 12 year champion, or I have, I don't know, 25, 26, 27 consecutive wins in glory. Like those are just numbers. For me, it's just like proving to myself I'm still improving and still getting better.
And that's the genesis of martial arts, right? It's a never-ending journey for perfection and greatness and stuff, and it's always hard to catch that. But in your mind, you've been doing this and having all the success for all these years. What do you think it would take in your mind to kind of be satisfied with what you've done?
Well, I am greatly satisfied. I'm really happy with what we've done and what we've accomplished. But yeah, I don't know. I just like I'm enjoying myself so much. I'm having so much fun still doing it, and I think that's the most important thing. And I still get excited of the fights, and I still feel anxious and ready. And I think as soon as I don't feel that anymore, it's time to pull the plug. So
Right.
and
Yeah.
for the rest, yeah, like I said, just have fun with it and enjoy myself. We're only here for a limited amount of time, so every second we have, enjoy it. And yeah, I'm already like in the end of the tunnel.
Right.
I've been doing this since I was 6 years old. So I'm now 35. So I turned 36 in April. So it's like, whew, I'm doing this for a long, long ass time already. But still, it's like I said, it's there, and it's the journey of still wanting to improve, not only as a fighter, but also as a human being and as a father, and just that. I don't know. For me, the fights still are a reflection of life. You sometimes you get hit, you get knocked down. What do? You get back up, and we continue, and still we conquer and we win. So I think I love it. I love it.
Love that. Great mindset. What kind of challenges do you think Glory can bring you in 2025 if you get through this fight successfully?
In 2025, what could be nice challenges though? Well, they've been talking about a crossover fight. Of course, we got the Francis Ngannou fight they were talking about. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see what happens. First of all, Levy's on the menu for next week, and then yeah, as soon as we've accomplished a nice good win again, gonna have a nice Christmas and start the new year fresh. And let's see what's popping up the calendar. I'm open. I'm open for whatever. So yeah, let's see what Glory comes up with.
This Francis Ngannou fight you reference, what does that look like in your mind in terms of like a crossover? Like if it did materialize, what do you think it would be?
I have no clue. I have no clue where they've been talking about. Of course, because he's an MMA fighter, I'm a kickboxer. We're both the very best at what we're doing. So how cool would it be to come together in a boxing match? So we're both out of our own comfort zone, and I think that's something that would make sense. Um, would MMA make sense? I don't know. I need to get working on my grappling again because that's been a while. A kickboxing match would be cool because that's also a part of course, MMA. And he knows how to kick and he knows how to box. So that combination would be fun. So that's like I said, I'm open. Let's see what the negotiations come up with.
Do you think like would Glory have to be involved in that in some way in terms of like a co-promotion, or do you have like contractual freedom to kind of maybe go do something like that on your own?
Like I said, it can be all kinds of ways, but I think Glory would definitely be involved in something like this, of course, because it is something that I am the Glory champion. So I think for whatever way it's gonna be something that we're all involved in.
For sure. Do you feel like you're kind of, they look at Francis Ngannou, who's had these boxing matches that, against these great elite fighters, and they compare him to the best in MMA and stuff. Do you feel like when we're talking about the best heavyweights in combat sports or just the best fighters in combat sports in general, you aren't being included in that conversation enough?
Yeah, well, I think I'm definitely part of that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But the sport of kickboxing is just not as big as the sport of boxing and the sport of MMA.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the biggest issue in that. But not in the sport of MMA and not in the sport of boxing. There's somebody that's active as me has been champion for such a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
So
What
I think that's where the challenge is. So for me, I want to be challenged in new worlds and in whatever way, if it's boxing or whatever. Let's see, and let's see who's the baddest on the planet.
Absolutely. What do you think a boxing fight with Francis looks like if it was to materialize? Like, how do you think it goes down?
It would be such a cool fight. Would be such a cool fight to do. But yeah, if we're just like completely honest, I'm like definitely the elite boxer.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I'm not saying that Francis can't box. He can box, but I'm on a whole different level.
yeah, that'd be a great fight, man. I really hope that they could make something happen there. I think we'd all love to see that, and you deserve whatever big payday would come with that too. I think that would be awesome for you to get. But
It'd be
a couple,
super cool.
yeah, just a couple last things. Do you have a relationship with Tom Aspinall as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. Tom Aspinall is a good friend of mine.
Yeah. What do you think of his kind of situation right now, kind of waiting to see if John Jones is going to take the fight with him? Do you think that ultimately ends up happening, or do you think John
He
is
has
going to
to. He
retire?
has to take that fight.
Yeah.
He has to take that fight. I know. I understand his position. I understand why he's not like really eager to take that fight because Tom is a different type of animal. Believe me, he's a different type of monster. He's fast. He's agile. He can grapple. He can wrestle. He's good on the ground. He can box. He can kickbox. So I don't think John wants a piece of Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, and Tom had this great quote the other day where he did an interview with Ariel Helwani, basically saying that like he thinks John kind of stays up at night because he loves to study tape so much, and that's how he
Yeah.
breaks down opponents. And there's basically no tape of Tom out there, and he said that's to his advantage. And then I don't know if you saw Conor McGregor share the video of you and Tom sparring and being like, "Well, there's some tape here, and he doesn't look so good against Rico Verhoeven." Did you see any of that? And I guess what do you
No.
make of people trying to like analyze sparring footage between you and Tom Aspinall?
Oh man, come on. Just me and Tom just you really, really, really think me and Tom are gonna spar for real and share that on the
Yeah,
internet? Come on, you gotta be kidding me. You
yeah,
gotta be kidding me. But that's the mindset of the world today. They're all like, yo, what's on the internet? That's what is for real, and that's what. Come on, we're too smart for that. We've been playing this game for such a long time, and that's one of the reasons why we've been dominating for such a long time is that we've always tried to outsmart everybody. So it's definitely not a thing that we would be posting. We were just having fun, and I, of course, you know that Tom. Had to stay in shape and ready for potentially fighting either Stipe or John for his last fight, for the
mhm.
last fight they had. So we were just having fun, and I was just like imitating John a little bit, going from left to right and moving around, and that's what we were doing. We were just having fun with it. So and like I said, if yeah, it's not like a true something that you can really like analyze. Like, oh, he wasn't looking that good versus Rico, but because believe me, Tom is an amazing kickboxer. He would give like definitely the top three of in glory a hands full fight. He's an amazing kickboxer. And every time he comes, we talk, and he's such an amazing listener. And he's a learner. Every time I give him stuff and he comes back, fuck, he mastered the trick. I told him, and I love it. I love it. It's so much fun, and that's why also I brought him into this camp this year, this time around because Levy is also unorthodox. Comes out of straight. The way he attacks is different than a lot of my other opponents, and that's what Tom brings as well as an MMA fighter into the kickboxing world. So that's why I wanted Tom to help me out also with like the different moves and the different type of way he attacks as an MMA fighter. So it was amazing, and of course, like you said, the things we shared, you saw on tape, was us just having fun with it.
Yeah, I figured, but I appreciate you setting the record straight. And last thing I wanted to ask you about, speaking of amazing strikers and those who have come to MMA, are you surprised at all by the success Alex Pereira has had in the UFC, claiming titles in two divisions? Like just to see him
No.
come over and adapt to the sport so quickly. And has that at all been tempting for you to kind of see what him and Israel Adesanya have done? I know you have dipped your toe in MMA before, and
Yeah.
obviously you're doing great things with Glory. I'm sure it's hard to shift focus away from that when you're doing what you're doing, but has that ever been tempting, just seeing what these guys are doing?
No, definitely not surprised with Alex's performances because he's an amazing fighter. He did amazing in Glory, and he's doing amazing now. Um, yeah, he's a true athlete, a real hard worker. I love it. A nice guy and a great champion. So of course, when I see it, I'm like, oh man, maybe that would have been something for me, but like I don't know. For me, I truly believe everything in life happens for a reason, and you always need to be honest to yourself. And you have to look in the mirror and see, like, would it really be my ambition to be the very, very, very best MMA fighter? Probably not. Probably not. To be really honest, like for
Yeah.
me, that's what works. You know, being transparent and just look at yourself and just come up with the answer. Is the answer yes or is it no? Or is it a maybe? And probably if it's a maybe, it's more a no than it's a yes.
Right.
So, and I think for me, the answer is just simple no. Just no. It's like I've been doing the sport of kickboxing for so long. We've been dominating, and yeah, I just want to set the bar as high as possible for the next generation, and that's what they can follow. And then for me, there's so many other things that I want to do. I want to get into acting. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm shareholder in different type of companies, so having fun with that. Of course, I'm a father, family man, so many things to do. So jumping into a fully different sport, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think yeah, it's not really like my ambition, to be honest. And if you really want to transition, it should be your ambition to be the very best. And if it's not, why would transition at all?
For sure. No, that's a very honest and fair mindset. I think anyone who follows the sport and what you've done can appreciate that. So I appreciate you sharing that, man. I guess just last thing before I get you out of here, Rico, and I really appreciate the time. Just for anyone who's maybe on the fence about watching this fight or ordering this event on December 7th, just give us the sales pitch. Why should we all tune in to this rematch, you in the main event, Glory Collision 7, December 7th in the Netherlands?
Yeah, of course, guys. Tune in, Glory Collision 7, because it's the big. Those are the biggest Glory events. The Glory is the elite stand-up combat sports in the world. It's high pace, it's entertaining, it's a must-see. So it's not just me headlining, of course, the event, but we got so many more elite fighters, championship fights. You need to see the highest level of kickboxing. And of course, I'm gonna headline it, the king of kickboxing, and I'm gonna, yeah, I don't want to give too much of a prediction, of course, but I'm definitely gonna finish this fight early.
Love it, Rico. Appreciate the time so much, man. It was great catching up with you. It's been a while, so good to see you again. And I hope the
Thanks, man.
final week
Appreciate the time.
training goes great here, and we'll talk soon, man. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thanks. Bye bye.